Hello and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be mapping the 2028 presidential election based off of Donald Trump's approval on June 25th, 2025. Now, as you can see, Trump has a 53.9 average disapproval rating and a 42.9 average approval rating. So that means he has a net negative 11 approval rating. So he is in the negative, which he has been since about mid-February. And you've got a bunch of different pollsters contributing to this aggregate. And so what they've done is they've created a model that estimates they take the 2024 election results and they adjust them to match his current national approval rating. So they've got individual state approval ratings based off of that model. Now, before we get started and we start plotting down the map, there's a few things I want to talk about. One of those things is that obviously Trump is term limited in 2028. However, his vice president, J.D. Vance, is closely tied to him, and he's likely going to be the GOP nominee in 2028. And as such, we're going to work off the assumption that Vance and Trump have very similar approval ratings for the purposes of this video. Now, another thing that I wanted to address is that just because a voter disapproves of a candidate does not necessarily mean that they won't vote for them. And I'll give you an example. This is Trump's approval rating from November 2020 according to Gallup. And they had Trump 43% approval, 55% disapproval. Now, Trump, we know, ended up getting 47%. Trump got 47% of the vote, but he only had a 43% approval rating. So 4% of Americans, they didn't approve Donald Trump, but they still voted for him. And I mean, this was the case in 2024 as well. Not every person that voted for Kamala Harris approved of her, but some of them thought that she was a better candidate than Donald Trump, so they still voted for her. And so these approval rating numbers that you'll see here, those aren't necessarily going to be in real life how people vote. So for example, Washington, Trump is negative 30 points, but in reality, the state might be negative 20. He might lose the state, or J.D. Vance might lose the state by 25 points instead of 30, because again, some of those people who don't approve of Trump might still, at the end of the day, vote for him or Vance. So keep that in mind when we do discuss the individual state margins. So we're going to start off with the safe blue states. We've got Washington, Oregon, California, New York, New Mexico, Colorado, Illinois. We've got a lot of these northeastern states as well over here. And we've got some states actually too that were kind of more competitive in 2020. Including Minnesota, Virginia, even New Jersey. And specifically, let's take a look at those states. Minnesota, Trump minus 16. This is a state that he only lost by 3. Virginia, he lost by 6. He's minus 18. New Hampshire, he lost by 3, minus 15. So, again, this doesn't mean that Vance would lose New Hampshire by 15. He might lose it by 7 or 6 or 8 points. But again, some people, they may not like him, but they'll still vote for him. So looking over to the GOP side, Wyoming, Idaho, the Dakotas, they're pretty safe as well. And then I believe Oklahoma, and then a lot of these southern states as well. Let me make sure I haven't missed any. Indiana, as you can see, that's under 10 points. That's a likely margin. Same with Nebraska. Kansas is lean, which seems pretty crazy to say. And of course, with Nebraska and Maine, we don't have individual data for the congressional districts. So I'm gonna have to make a guess here as to how these individual districts would vote. So I think this is how it would turn up based off of the statewide data for Nebraska. And then South Carolina, that's a likely margin. Missouri, that's likely. Iowa is tilt. And then Ohio, I believe, is lean red. As yeah, Trump only up by 1.6, which again, it seems crazy to say, but that's what the numbers show right now. And then in Florida, this is a state he won by, I believe, like 13 points or so. He's up by zero point 0.4. Texas won by 14, only up by 1.4. So Texas would be lean, Florida would be tilt, and then Alaska 1.4. That's a lean margin right there for Vance. And then in Maine, uh, minus 20 essentially. So Maine at large safe. Maine's first is safe. Now Maine's second, I'm not quite sure, but I will put it as lean red for now. Because again, we don't have individual data per congressional district. Now it gets pretty interesting. So, or let me fill out Montana. That's likely R. So we've got the 7 core swing states, and Trump is down in all 7 of them by varying margins. So if we go to Nevada, 8.5 points, Arizona, 7.5 points, those would be likely margins for the Democrats. And then if we go to Georgia, minus 10.6, that is ridiculous. That would mean that Georgia would be a safe margin for the Democrats, which again, it sounds ridiculous to say because it kind of is ridiculous. North Carolina, minus 9.6. That's a likely almost safe margin. And then we've got the 3 main states in the Rust Belt. Pennsylvania, 11 points. Michigan, 10 points. Wisconsin, 11 points. All of these would be safe blue if we go strictly off of these numbers, and it would result in the Democrats winning 2028, 319 to 219 electoral votes. But again, we know that realistically these are not going to be the results in 2028 because, and I know I'm saying this for the millionth time, but a lot of these people who don't necessarily approve of Trump will still vote for Vance over any Democrat because they will view Vance as a lesser evil. And so ultimately, the actual margins are probably not going to be like this. I would imagine that in real life, if the Democrats do get 319 electoral votes, the margins would probably look something similar to maybe this, where a lot of these swing states are a lot more closer. And then some of these red states would not be as close. Maybe something more like this. And then, obviously Kansas safe, Montana, Missouri, Indiana, Alaska safe. Alaska may be likely, but the point being that yes, Trump's approval rating is not good, but for JD Vance, this is salvageable. But again, I do think if the 2028 election were to be held today, then I think the Republicans would definitely lose. But again, the 2028 election is almost 3.5 years away. That's a long time. A lot can change from now and then. So with that being said, I mean, Trump's approval rating still has a lot of time left to rebound, and there is no guarantee that JD Vance is the 2028 Republican nominee for president. He is definitely the favorite. However, there's plenty of time. Marco Rubio could get Trump's blessing. Hell, even Don Jr. could get it for all we know. A lot of crazy stuff could happen between now and then. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment, share the video. help me grow my channel. Please, let's get to 100 subs, and please be sure to turn on post notifications so you do not miss the next video, and I will see you all on the next video.